pretty interesting because it's a kind of skill series, and this is called Triple EMP. Now, obviously, as you can assume, the point of the series is to try to get 3 EMPs in the game, and in this one, I'm going to leave a little bit of a twist because one of the biggest things I've always talked about is that I don't like that commentaries these days and other types of gameplays are kind of spoilers. Anybody that posts a video on Machinima Respawn or like Optic Gaming or something like that, they always put the score of what the game's going to be in there. And to me, that's a little bit of a spoiler because I want to be surprised. I have always liked listening to certain commentators because commentators are pretty interesting and, you know, sometimes they have really interesting things to talk about. But one of the biggest issues is that it's too spoiled. People talk about the gameplay or they talk about things in the game and it spoils what's going to happen. And I feel that this is a spoiler series, but, you know, sometimes you're going to try to throw twists in. And I think this one has a really good twist. And a lot of this, too, is a really good skill idea because, as you know, you need 54 kills to get 3 EMPs. Now, any domination game, that's a lot of fucking kills. And I mean, domination gives you really the most time other than headquarters, but headquarters game, people rush so fast for the headquarters that you don't even have time to play the full 20-minute games. So, this one's a really interesting game. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I wanted to explain 2 things before I go into any type of commentary. And the first thing is that you might be noticing the gamer tag is "You had me at Halo." Well, what happened was my Balin account just got hacked, and some asshole tried to buy 10,000 worth of Microsoft points on my account. They spent it on my mother's credit card, not my PayPal, so she was pissed, I was pissed. Now I have the investigation going on, so I may not get the tag back, but I'm still going to be Balin. Something of the word Balin's going to have to be there, if I can't get Balin 911 back. But anyway, so that's the deal about that, and also, the reason I wanted to put this into the new series is because originally this was going to be a new trainer clan destroyer episode because on my team are these 4 guys that have DIC in their clan tag, and they were once again doing the talk shit to everybody else, and I was sick of it. I'm sick of people who talk shit and they don't have skill to back it up. So in essence, this is kind of a clan destroyer episode, but mainly it's just part of the new series that I think people are gonna like because it takes a lot of skill to do 3 EMPs. I mean, you can also arguably say that, you know, if you die enough times, it's not really skill because you're thinking to yourself, oh yeah, you got 54 kills, so you got 50 deaths. But if you think about it in the mix, to get 54 kills in a game, it's going to take you a lot of living to do. And obviously, you can't die a whole bunch. I'm saying, like, maybe the cap of deaths would be about 25. Because every time you die, you spawn backwards, and it takes you about 5 seconds to run back into a combat field unless somebody's trying to spawn camp you. And that's a lot of skill right there, and I think you're going to like a lot of twists in this, in the gameplay, because there's a lot of advantages that I take, you know, good opportunities on. And it's like, when I was using the MP7, I didn't really use the dual FMG that much. There was one scenario that came ahead where I had perfect chances to use the FMG, but instead of doing that, to display my skill, I used the MP7 because it's too easy to spray and pray with the FMGs, but at the same time, I don't care what people say when I'm doing the Clan Destroyer episodes and saying, oh, don't use the FMGs because they're the noob weapon. Yes, they're a little bit noobish because you can just spray and pray like a motherfucker. But the point is that anybody can kill you. As I always say this, unless you suck and you can't kill a guy using the FMGs, then shut the hell up. I mean, if you have skill and you can kill him, you're probably not talking shit about it because you're not dying to it. That's one of the basic and most simple things to think about. And, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. I don't really have too much in topic-wise to talk about other than school. But, for me, I want to, and to say with the Balin account is that, you know, I'm obviously going to be put on pause and doing a few videos. The only things I really have coming up, I have a couple Clan Destroyer episodes, which are going to fall under the trainer unless the Clan Destroyer picks up its own series. And also, I wanted to say a few things that actually I do have something to talk about now that I think about it. But the first thing was with the Clan Destroyer, I got a few episodes of those, and I might edit them together and try to make a quick, you know, 5-6 minute videos because there's not that much audio or talking or smack talking in them, so people aren't going to be too interested. It's just going to be skill videos. But one of the things I wanted to say is that I got recently offered the partnership for Machinima. I'm happy about it. I got offered. I sent an email to Rishi, his whatever his last name is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And the guy gave me a form, sign it up, and I can't sign the form. I'm so bummed out by this. It's to say, I have an opportunity here to take on, a machinima partnership, and I can't sign it because the terms of the contract are so steep that I don't really want to display too much, but it's like when you sign the contract, you're signing a big portion of your channel away. And to do that, it's so scary. In so many words, it's to say, if I sign that, I'm taking so much risk, but at the same part, you gotta think about it from a machinima standpoint and saying that I've given this person the full partnership and I'm putting it on their shoulders to not screw our channel over and take like copywritten music or bad content that people like. No, I'm giving them everything and I expect that they're gonna give me back everything, It's a fair contract, but it's, for me, the signer, it's too steep and I can't accept that. I feel so bad about it, but if it weren't for the fact that I wanted to work with TGN as well, then I would probably be more inclined to sign the contract, but I've been doing work with TGN, and I'm moderator for TGN Waypoint, which will be launching in February. And if I wasn't doing work with those, because they may become actual jobs for me, I may actually have a real job doing these. They're launching in February, so for right now, I'm just kind of in the dark with a lot of what's going on. And, I mean, once it launches, it's going to be phenomenal, and if it should excel, but if it flops, then, it's just, I did what I could, I didn't work out too well, or they didn't work out too well, and it's just the flow of business. But, I mean, TGN, I feel, is in the market more of what I want to do with my life, is that I accepted to go into culinary school because, I wanted to stick to knowing that when I'm out of college, I'll have a job. I can go work anywhere. Whereas if back when I wanted to make video games, I went into the wrong thing, and I wanted to go into design when what I went into on accident was coding. And TGN is recently partnered with Congregate Games, which is a big website which hosts a lot of like user-made games or small games that like Facebook has. For example, like Zynga, they could possibly be hosted on there if it was their choice. And it was pretty interesting, and once I saw that, it was kind of like, TGN is a career path for me almost. It's something I don't really want to say, oh, I have a good career working with TGN, but it's like, I want to have a career with video games, and I've always wanted to design and write stories behind them, but obviously that I'm an unexperienced kid, what company is going to listen to me? And where Congregate falls in is to like say I can work with maybe somebody who's a small-time developer and start practicing a little bit on design, start using some 3D tools and make some really interesting stuff, and basically launch myself as a person into the video gaming community. And not only that is that me and my friend Matt have had phenomenal ideas, and it's not like we're just saying we know we're gonna do good. We're taking points out of video games that people have already used and have like exceeded in those parts, and B, things that people have never even touched base on. And I think if I were to take control of that opportunity and launch with a small game like an iPhone game or an iPad game or like just a regular like downloadable app game, and you sell that idea, basically you created the foundation for a game that you could later develop into something like an Xbox game. And that's what with TGN, it's with Congregate that partnered with TGN. That's how it's all linking together, and why like if I accepted the machinima contract, I feel like I'd be backed into a corner. I wouldn't be able to work with TGN, and it upsets me to no end. It's just I had a perfect opportunity, and I mean I'm not saying I haven't. I still have the contract. I've been waiting to talk with Rishi, and he was saying something about the lines of. We'll talk about and see if there's anything that's unclear to you, which really in, legal lingo is basically, you may understand some of the contract, but I want you to try to see it from my point, and I understand it all, but it's like, I'm not expecting the Skype call to go well, because simply to put is like, he's a businessman, as I am, and he's not going to really want to say, oh, for you, I'm going to give you a special contract, because I'm just a number in a book, and I understand that, because you got however many partners and however many directors in machinima. Last thing you need is one person being specially treated and then other people catching on, and it just creates this chain of mass, people getting angry and people leaving, and it's bad business. And I understand it from every point at machinima, but at the same time, it's like if I wanted to really sign this contract, I would do it, but not on my channel, because my channel has potential to grow a community on its own, or even with TGN. That's really it for me. I mean, I don't have to, like I said, I don't have too much to commentate about. I think that was a pretty interesting thing to say, that I'm basically having to turn down a machinima contract. And, I mean, how many people have ever said that? I had the machinima contract right in my face. I saw it, I read it, I looked at everything, and I had to say no. That's pretty sad. And, you know, there's a million people who would probably kill to be in that position, but I can't really do anything about it. Our channel's growing. We have a lot of subscribers. We have a lot of video views. But one thing you're always lagging is community. We don't have a really strong community, and that's what I feel. In us turning down this contract is the main thing I have to develop on. I don't care about subscriber development. I don't care about view development. I need a community. People who are like, yes, we love this channel, because we are actually part of the channel, or we get to play with the people on the channel, and that's what people love, and that's what they enjoy, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And not only does this say this series is supposed to be a triple EMP, but in this one I got a quad EMP. 4 friggin' EMPs, and that's a lot of freaking kills. I love you guys all. Don't forget to leave a comment. You don't need to subscribe, you don't need to favorite, you don't need to like. Just leave a comment. You know, I want some feedback from you guys. I love you all, but you know, need some feedback.